Okie dokie. Let's get going with the second one.
Hi. Right.
Yeah, these supports are lasting like way longer than I think they're going to for some reason. So figured I may as well just keep splitting these two explorers up. Not that I guess it really matters if I have like longer videos, but it just feels weird to me.
Hello there. This one, yes? I think this one, yes? I think this one, yes? This one, yes? I think this one, yes? I think this one, yes? I thank you. Return soon, please.
I'm actually fairly certain there is one more fishing day. I'm not gonna actually do it, but
this one, yes?
Pretty sure there
I
is.
thank you. Return soon, please. Hey. Hey there. Is this... There you go. Is this... There you go.
May as well full repair everything with all that money I've got up there.
Is this it? Is this... There you go. Is this... There you go. Is this... There you go. Is this... There you go.
Save repairing the relics for later.
Come back anytime. Hello there. This one, yes? I think this one, yes?
Yep.
I think. Return
Okay.
soon, please.
Shouldn't ever need to buy that ever again. The head chef challenge. Oh, I know who I want.
Somehow everything tastes better with company.
Let us eat.
Oh.
That look.
Felix gotta learn how to use a sword one day.
I appreciate any... I would... That...
Oh.
By the way, I agree.
Uh-huh. Very fascinating. I've actually built up a support with Eloise again, huh? Okay.
Professor.
I think I'll save him for whenever I do the Silver Snow route as well. So. Times like this, I miss Rhea and her ability to train me in swords. Open the door.
I think.
First floor, if we crush...
That was all very eventful.
That's right.
Professor?
No. To Happy Land. Yeah, I believe the Silver Maiden is the last paralogue for Blue Lions. You know, assuming you've done the rest of them up to this point. This way. This is the way I want to go.
Professor.
Okay. What do we got here? He needs Catherine, Aloy. He needs a lot of people. Damn. Okay.
Why, hello there. If it is your wish. Everything is within your grasp. If it is your wish. Everything is within your grasp. If it is your wish. Everything is within your grasp.
That funny ass noise, dude. Gets me every time.
If it is your wish. Everything is within your grasp. If it is your wish. Everything is within your grasp.
Oh, okay. They must have it already. I just didn't notice. Damn, dude. He didn't get a single one for any of them. That's wild. Fuck,
Why,
Dimitri.
hello there. Come back soon now.
He didn't get a support for Annette either, really? Wait, did I give it to the wrong person? That'll annoy me if I did. Okay, I didn't. Good.
Why, hello there. If it is your wish.
Damn, homeboy here needs a lot of support points, it appears.
Everything is within your grasp. If it is your wish. Everything is within your grasp. If it is your wish. Everything is within your grasp. If it is your wish. Everything is within your grasp. If it is your wish. Everything is come back soon now.
Okay, Annette. Okay, that got everyone. Except for Flane. Damn, Flane, what the fuck?
Why, hello there.
Fucking Dimitri
If
just
it
ate
is your
like
wish.
5,000 fucking renown. Shit. That was a lot more than I thought.
Everything is within your grasp. Come back soon now.
But I suppose he's a bit of an exception since he hasn't really been. Yeah. Okay, so at this point he needs 1, 2, 3, 4, He only has 4 left, so that's something. Okay, who you got? Annette, Flane, and Gilbert.
Why, hello there. If it is your wish. Everything is within your grasp. If it is your wish. Everything is within your grasp.
I guess theirs is timed. That's interesting. I didn't know any of the,
If
like,
it is your wish.
non-Byleth ones could be timed like that. How interesting.
Everything is within your grasp. Come back soon now.
Damn, homeboy didn't get any either, huh?
Why, hello there. If it is your wish. Everything is within your grasp.
Okay.
If it is your wish. Everything is within your grasp. If it is your wish. Everything is with. Come back soon now.
Alright, so that means Dedu only has 1 left after this, and that's with Flane. Felix is basically done. He's got Sedith and Flane, and Dorothea's last one, but he's got that. Sedith, he should be able to get these 2 easily. I'll just use agents to get those. Ash has quite a few, actually. About Sylvain, I think he's done. Yeah. Mercedes. Woo. She's got quite a few. Annette has quite a few. Ingrid, close to done. Yeah, they're basic. Half of them are basically done. The rest of them aren't. So let's get started with Ash first, I guess.
Why, hello there. If it is your wish. Everything is within your grasp. If it is your wish. Everything is within your grasp. If it is your wish. Everything is within your grasp. If it is your wish.
And we'll do that. Easy peasy.
Everything is within. Come back soon now.
So we got Catherine and Caspar. That's it.
Why,
Okay.
hello there.
I should be able to get Ash and Annette's through eating, so I don't want to do that. So let's just do Gilbert.
If it is your wish. Everything is within. Come back soon now.
What are Cyril's stats here? Maybe I could just make him a Wyvern Rider or something. And I can just adjun him to Ash. I probably should have been doing that from the start, but whatever. Be alright.
Why, hello there. If it is your wish. Everything is within your grasp.
Okay,
Come back
good.
soon now.
Now what else do we got? Yeah, you're done, that's right. What about you? Damn, she has a lot of them. I'll have Mercedes on my team when I do the Black Eagles, so she can talk to Constance then. Otherwise, these two... I've already maxed out her support with Lorenz and the Golden Deer run, so I'm not so worried about that one. Those two, however...
Why, hello there.
Yeah, sure, I'll do those.
If it is your wish.
At least I'll do Aloyse's C support.
Everything is within your. Come back soon now.
I got one left. Who dat is? Annette and Gilbert, I guess.
Why, hello there.
They're gonna need a lot of help. These people got issues, man.
Everything is. Come back soon now.
God, there's so many supports in this game. It doesn't feel like a lot until you actually try to get most of them, and then you're just like, holy shit. I'll boost a net with Hanneman, and then I'll call this a day.
Why, hello there. If it is your wish. Everything is. Come back
Okay.
soon now.
That's enough of this shit. And I actually sat there and did that for like 15 minutes. Holy shit. Nice. my god, this fucking loading screen. No, not to do.
Let's get. Let's get.
Let me change some things. Do that. Do that. That. They get like XP and a half if you have only one thing selected. You lose out overall, but if you just need to like bump something up real quick and don't need a bunch of shit, then it's fine.
Alright. I thought.
That was. You have. You're. I'm getting. Nope. I'm getting.
I mean, I guess. You'll continue your attempt to learn how to ride ponies. Okay. God, he's got 70 HP. Damn.
Professor.
We did some great.
Alright, let's get started with the support train. Yay, support train.
Here for the flowers again? I see. I have two things to say. First, I thank you for supporting His Highness in my absence. But I must also admonish you for taking your own well-being too lightly. On several occasions, I have seen you protect others by putting yourself in harm's way. I am grateful for your efforts, but I feel you should place a higher value on your own life. His Highness relies on you, as do I. Then show that with your actions. We cannot afford to lose an invaluable asset like you. And... this greenhouse would be a more lonely place without you in it. It would not be fair to the flowers to leave me their only caretaker. Someday, I hope to show you a whole landscape of these flowers in full bloom. Yes. Once this conflict is over, and His Highness ascends the throne, I believe it can be done. You must live at least until then. Understood? I had not thought much of my own life until now, except that I would gladly cast it aside for His Highness. That is still true, but now I desire to see the end of this war. Until I can show you the fields of Dusker and Bloom, I will go on living.
Do you have a moment, Professor? I need to speak with you. Thank you so much. This is what I wanted to address. This letter from my adoptive father just arrived. Oh, have I not mentioned him? He's the reason I first came to the Officers' Academy. He's also the one who dragged me from the church where I was living, just so he could use my crest. My crest does not yet belong to a house, so he plans to use it as leverage to marry into the nobility. He's a very greedy man who was a roving merchant before adopting me, but now he's in the capital. This letter says that he's finally arranged to marry me off to a wealthy noble. I know he's just thinking of himself, but can't he see that this isn't a priority when we're at war? I suppose it's possible. He may be worried about carrying on his bloodline, but... I don't know what to do about this proposal. I can't see any way around it, so I fear that I must. I just don't want to let go of the life that I've made for myself. I know it's not what my heart wants, but I don't have the strength to say no. I believe I've mentioned this before, but I want to work in service of the church. Well, I suppose it doesn't necessarily have to be the church, but I want to help those in need. If I were to marry a noble, I think it would be difficult to realize that dream. It's just, I've always allowed myself to follow the whims of those above me. I convinced myself that everything in life was at the will of the goddess. I was blind to reality. I believed it was her will to both pull me from the church and guide me to the Officers' Academy. The decision to enter this war was the first time I acted of my own free will. My adoptive father opposed this decision, but I somehow managed to convince him. Still, I couldn't free myself of him completely. This letter is proof of that. It's not that I'm scared of him, but there is something that worries me. I knew you'd understand, Professor. I've sat down to write a reply several times, but I can't muster up the courage or the words. I was hoping you could provide me with the encouragement I need. That's a very good point. We're only given one life, so we must do all we can to pursue our happiness. Okay. I think that may have been just the push I was looking for. I'll tell him the truth, that I found a life worth pursuing, and I must decline the proposal. Maybe I should tell him I've fallen for someone else. Why, it's you, Professor. Isn't that obvious? I'm just teasing. Now I'm off to write this letter and stand my ground. Thank you for your encouragement.
Professor. A pleasure to see you. I was here for confessional. Confessing my foolishness. While I'm at it, may I confess something to you too? I realize what a burden I've been. On you, I mean. After every breakup, I neglect my work, and I know how that affects you. I'm completely worthless as a woman. Can you imagine how that feels? Oh, I'm going to be single for the rest of my life. I just know it. You think so too, don't you? That's terrible to say. But if that's how you see it, maybe there is no hope for me. What's wrong with me? It's not my looks. I'm still gorgeous. Or am I? Be honest, do I look old? No, not possible. I'm the songstress who swept the Empire off its feet. Men professed their love for me hourly. It can't be my looks. You're right. Although, just fine is a bit... Well, it's better to be attractive than just fine. Oh no. If the problem isn't my looks, and they are not the problem, then it must be... what? My personality? I know you're trying to find a way to say it gently, but you think there's a problem, don't you? I suppose I can be a bit unkempt. I do have a short temper, and I may be a little lazy, sometimes. But I've always heard fellas, you know, like a woman with a few flaws. Seems to me there are plenty of flawed girls who have landed themselves a good man. So maybe my trouble is I'm not imperfect enough. Do you think I could use a few more flaws? Why? Do you think I'm flawed enough already?
Even this town, which was a ruin, has begun to recover its energy. However, acquiring supplies is still difficult. The people living here are struggling too. This conflict must be brought to an end soon. I agree. We must seize victory with our own hands. Still, I wonder what path my life should follow once we achieve our goals. That has been my intent. But surely my daughter Annette must have her own path to follow. Perhaps she would be happier if our paths diverged. Of course, if she desires it, I will gladly return. But if she does not, I wonder if I should ask my wife to join me here. To live out our days together at the monastery. That would not be so bad a choice either. Perhaps it is the fault of last night's drink that I am indulging in such dreams of the future today. Yes, I've learned there is strength in focusing clearly on tomorrow and allowing yesterday to be done.
Hey! It's the old fishing guy! Hi there!
A short time ago, I instructed these children in the art of fishing.
Thanks to you, we caught a really, really big fish in the river nearby.
Is that right? Be sure you share it with your families now.
We will!
I did say something about that once, didn't I? I even told you to forget you ever saw me smile. But now, I would not ask that of you. Your words from when last we spoke have stayed with me. They bring to mind the king I first served. He told me not to dwell upon the dead. The dead are dead, and those who live are not bound by them. I intend to live my own life from now on. You have a fine smile as well. One that I could never have imagined when we first met. No matter how our titles or positions change, I hope you will always remain yourself, Professor.
Oh, hey. I've been meaning to speak with you. I heard that you've been telling people not to worry so much about my condition. Is that a fact? No need to be coy. Thanks for doing that. But I do have one minor concern. You said that I haven't sighed in 5 years? What the heck is that about? Everyone's calling me half-decade happy now. First of all, terrible nickname. Second of all, you weren't even here. Did you just make that up? Seriously? You think that's okay? That's so frustrating. I'm fighting the urge to sigh right now. Well, the nickname's bogus. I have absolutely sighed in the last 5 years. You wouldn't believe what a hassle it was. Monsters rampaging willy-nilly through Abyss. Thanks to some help from the people underground, no one got hurt. But it was a close call. Maybe if you had been there, it wouldn't have been so much trouble. Yes, you. You've got the Sword of the Creator. That thing can chop through monsters like nothing. Are you fishing for compliments now? Fine, you're a good leader. You watch out for all of us. Even when the rest of the world turns and hides from me, I know you've got my back. You make me feel safe. Like I can be myself. Like I don't have to worry so much about keeping my emotions in check. I felt pretty sad all that time you were gone. I could have left Garrick Mach altogether. But then I started thinking, you might still be alive after all. So I went looking for you. Back to where you'd fallen and all. Oh, forget I said anything. Look at me getting all mushy and sincere. How embarrassing. Let's just go back to earlier when I was giving you a hard time. Hey, I can feel embarrassed if I want to. I can feel however I want to feel. Whoa, did I really just say that? I think that's enough vulnerability for one day. I'll see you around.
Hello, Professor. What brings you here? Fancy a bit of fishing? You know, I can hardly go fishing without thinking of old Gerald. He and I would just sit here, casting our lines again and again. I'm no better at it now than I was then. Not a single nibble. Just like your father. You know all the tricks of the fisherman's trade. I was hopeless at it, but he was a master. In the time it took me to catch one fish, he could fill his basket to the brim. You know, talking to you, I'm feeling very nostalgic. Why don't you join me? We can trade some stories about the old man. We spoke before about how Gerald never seemed to age, right? Once, when he was drunk, he let the secret slip. He said he'd had an infusion of crest-bearing blood, and it had greatly extended his life. Well, we'd both been drinking. I figured he was joking, so I just laughed it off. Then I asked him his age. He said he'd stopped counting after he hit 100. And he was telling the truth. In those 20 years he was away, he didn't age a bit. An incredible person, to be sure. And I probably don't know the half of it. Actually, I'd like to ask you something about Gerald, if you don't mind. When Gerald was away from the monastery, what was he like? In other words, he was exactly the same. When I was his squire, he was always hollering for a drink. He just wouldn't put a cork in it. But on the battlefield, he was unequaled. That's why people used to call him the Blade Breaker. I have to say, right now, fishing with you, it really takes me back. This feels just like the good old days, when Gerald was sitting alongside me.
Your Highness, thank you for everything.
This is sudden. Why so formal? You are not about to tell me you intend to leave the army, are you?
Oh no, it's not that. I just had the chance to return to the capital on military business. It had really been a long time. Life's pretty hard there right now, but its old vitality seems to be returning bit by bit. If it wasn't for you, I'm sure things wouldn't be looking so promising. So...
Come now, no need to exaggerate. Do not forget that I abandoned them and fled once as well.
You had no choice. If you had remained in the capital, you would have been killed. If you keep thinking so dark and gloomy, you're gonna end up looking just like Father.
Annette, you probably do not realize, but over those 5 years, I took many, many lives. I slaughtered generals and officials alike with brutality you would scarcely think a human was capable of. And as I have intensified my fight with the Empire, how many people have fallen in the capital? My hands are already dripping with blood. I cannot be forgiven.
You really are a lot more like Father than I am. Before Father left us, he used to say similar things. I don't want you to end up like him. So, I've been thinking, when this war is over, I was wondering whether I could help you with your work. Of course, I don't know how much I'd be able to support a king.
What are you saying?
If I leave you to your own devices, you'll forget how to laugh. We can't have that. You won't be able to do what you have to do with such a miserable look on your face. So, if you'll have me, I'd like to stay by your side. If you're sad or suffering, I'll just starve you until you muster a smile.
Starve me?
Hey, you weren't supposed to laugh at that part. I thought a lot about this.
Sorry, I could not help myself. Certainly with you around, I will not have any cause to frown. By all means, join me, Annette. And never lose that sweet smile of yours.
Yes, I promise. Up this late practicing with your lance, are you?
And what about you? Have you got something on your mind again? You really should go to bed. It is chilly out, and you could catch cold. What's the matter? Have you been having nightmares?
Well, in a certain sense, yes. Can you spare a moment?
Of course.
Thank you. I want to apologize to you. When last we spoke, I mishandled the situation.
Your words that night touched me deeply. It felt as though I had been punched in the gut. But more importantly, I think I owe you an apology. I lied to you.
You did?
Do you recall when I ate that meal you cooked and I told you it was delicious? The truth is that no matter what I eat, I can scarcely taste it. I have not had my sense of taste for 9 years now.
My cooking certainly is not something people often compliment me on.
I am sorry. When I said the food was good, I was just saying what I thought you would want to hear.
An apology is not necessary. You were only trying to be kind, after all.
In the end, I am not sure it was kind.
Just the same, it was nice to hear. Oh, hey! I have an idea! What if you sampled some really pungent food? Or something extremely spicy? Maybe that would...
Flame,
Yes?
I like your cooking. I cannot taste it properly, but in my book, it is truly delicious.
No need for the flattery. Anyhow, maybe someday you will get your taste back. I hope then you will be able to compliment me sincerely about my cooking.
Your Highness, it falls to me once more to instruct you in the ways of battle. It does not befit a leader to fight on the front lines. I would ask that you refrain from such conduct in the future.
I have not had to weather your lectures in many a year, and here I thought you were avoiding me.
That is a separate matter. You have a duty to consider the value of your own life.
Your words ring true, of course. I admit, I was a bit careless out there. However, I have always been a man who is good for nothing but war. To best support our cause, I must carve a path through the battlefield with my own hands. I truly believe that will lead us to victory. Why the dark expression, Gustav? Do my words trouble you so?
You remind me of your father. His Majesty once said the same thing more than a decade ago, during the Northern Campaign. In you, I see his manner and I hear his words. You grow more like him with each day's passing. And in you, I am reminded of my failure and my duty to him.
I do not wish to speak of that matter. As I said before, I feel no resentment toward you.
Even so, you have changed since that fateful day, Your Highness. Perhaps too much. I worry that in your pain, you have locked away your true feelings. Your passion is dulled, and your vigor faded.
You want to hear my true feelings, Gustav? Then let me ask you this. Why did you save my life that day? Why did you not allow me to die along with the others? If you truly wish to atone for your sins, then take my life, here and now!
You would ask me to perform the unthinkable. You are the future of Fargus. Your kingdom needs you alive. That I was able to save you is my only sense of salvation. Your Highness, I repeat myself. Consider the value of your own life. If you continue risking all, be it on the battlefield or by issuing mad orders such as this, I will be forced to save you from yourself.
I see. So, you will continue to protect and serve me, will you? In that case, when I assume the throne, I will order you to work for me in the kingdom.
Your Highness, no, please.
My father would be happy to see such a day. Perhaps I will ask you to instruct me further in the ways of battle, when that time comes.
If I wish to atone for my sins, I must take your life? Deception has never been your strong suit, Dmitri. Or do you think I cannot see? You must know I would take my own life before I let anyone harm you.
We should have been more careful. Those monsters really got the better of us.
I must apologize, Alois. If only I had paid closer attention.
No, it's all right. We've got more important things to do than dwell on our mistakes.
It hurts. I don't want to die yet.
Ugh. How did it come to this?
Indeed. With morale this low, we may yet have trouble making it back to the monastery.
We weren't expecting that attack, after all. It gave us a nasty shock. So we can't just leave. The Knights could use some inspiration. Listen up, everyone. We're going to carve ourselves a safe path back home to Garrigmach Monastery. But first, I want you all to hear me out.
Alois, what exactly are you...
A long time ago, Captain Geralt and I defended a small village from a band of thieves. After we defeated those hoodlums, the captain observed how ugly they were. Such hideousness ought to be illegal, he said. If it were up to me, I would have banned it. Then he walked up to the leader of the village and handed over a big bag of coins. A gift from the thieves, he said. They were dying to give it to you.
Sir, I'm not sure this is the time for...
Hmm?
Oh, Alois, how do you come up with those jokes? That last one was positively hilarious.
Oh, I don't know. I'm just a natural.
This is... I don't even know what to think right now.
I guess we should just join in.
That was delicious. Wow, I'm full. Nothing beats a big meal after a training session. Okay, what's up? You seem distracted.
Oh, my apologies, Catherine. I was just wondering whether you had any desire to return to Fargus.
No, I haven't even entertained the idea. My loyalty lies elsewhere. No matter what, I'm going to find Lady Rhea. That's what I'm fighting for.
May I ask why you have devoted yourself to Lady Rhea?
It's simple. I adore her. Lady Rhea isn't just kind, but strong and courageous. I think she's a wonderful, beautiful person. More so than anyone else in the world.
Wow. I'm not sure I can compete with that.
You can't. My reluctance to return to Fargus isn't about you, though. Ever since I met Lady Rhea, going back just hasn't been an option.
That is a shame. I am certain Fargus could use your help in the near future. House Karen is one of the most sterling noble families after Fraldarius and Gautier. It would be reassuring to know that you had taken up your position as head of that house. Is something wrong?
You need someone who's like me, but more noble. You're so stern and serious all the time. Sorry, I'm not going back. Besides, my father is alive and well, fulfilling the duties of House Karen. I have plenty of capable brothers and sisters who can take over after him. I'll keep serving Lady Rhea here, and you'll bring the kingdom together at the capital. We have to direct our talents wherever they're most useful and most needed, right?
Well,
Anyway, early day tomorrow. Don't want to stay up too late. You better go to bed.
I'm sorry. So sorry.
What is it, Annette?
I completely forgot that it's my turn for kitchen duty today. Huh? Did you do all the kitchen prep already?
Kitchen duty is mine today.
What? But, oh, did I get the day wrong?
Yes, yours is tomorrow.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Wow, I really am something else.
These things happen. Is something funny?
Oh, no, I was just happy. So, you probably already know this, but my uncle is really strict. He wanted me to be perfect at cooking, studying, cleaning, washing, everything really. He said if I wasn't perfect, as a knight's daughter, I'd be devaluing my crest. Whenever I messed up, he looked so mad, and he'd sigh like he just lost his faith in humanity.
That is harsh.
Oh, I know he loved me and all. He was just kind of scary. But you've helped me out and been patient with me without getting mad. I'm just so happy. Thank you, Dedue.
I have hardly done anything.
You know what? You remind me of my father.
Of Gilbert.
You look scary at first glance, but you're actually really kind.
Is that so?
Oh, right. Let me help you with something, if that's okay with you. What are you cooking today? Hopefully I can chip in.
It is a meat dish from Fargus.
I'm still a complete klutz, so I'm not gonna be in the way, am I?
Not at all. I was hoping that the food I made would bring a smile to your face.
Oh, wow. That's... Well then, I can't wait for dinner time.
Good. Chop the vegetables into bite-sized pieces. After that, skim the top layer off the pan. Be mindful of the heat.
Certainly, Chef Dedue.
There is no need to call me that. Are you displeased?
No, not in the slightest. I just got momentarily sleepy. It happens to me from time to time. Let me see. First, chop the vegetables. Coming right up, Chef. Dedue?
Good.
I am so bored. Day in and day out, it is nothing but dicing vegetables and waiting for water to boil. I want to feel like I am actually cooking. It is not as though I do not know the basics. He could at least let me hold the spatula sometime.
Next, we peel the vegetables.
Chef Dedue, I was hoping to speak with you regarding something that has been on my mind.
Speak?
Surely you have noticed my skill while wielding pans and knives. Therefore, I think it is time you taught me how to cook. Beyond all this water boiling and vegetable chopping business.
Impossible.
But why?
All must be done in the proper sequence. And the first step here, whether you like it or not, is to learn to use the tools perfectly.
Come now! You have seen how I use a ladle. You know I'm good for it. He has left me no option but to take matters into my own hands. Stubborn you may be, Chef Dedue, but I will show you the true meaning of delicious.
Impressive that you made it back, Dedue. It was you who saved His Highness from prison. We, all of us, thought you were dead.
My wounds were severe, but I managed. So long as I draw breath, I fight for His Highness.
Is that so?
But in my absence, you have protected him. Thank you, Gilbert, for returning to us.
Stop. I left once. I have wondered if I will be forced to leave once more after this battle is done.
Would you accept that? I imagine not.
Of course not.
You are still Gustav at heart, even now. I am not fit to replace you. Not yet. I still have a great deal more to learn. For now, all I can do is continue to be a shield for His Highness.
It is unlike you to be so talkative.
I could not be silent.
So long as you understand, I will leave the kingdom someday. It may not be until the day I die, but the time will come. This war. I'm a much older man than I was when it began. Sooner or later, someone must take my place. Do not try to carry the weight alone, Dedue. There are many talented and well-trained officers. Work together with them to assure our king's future. Do that, and when the time comes, I will rest well.
Thank you for the advice. However...
Yes?
It is too soon to treat you like an old man. You still have at least 10 years of service in you. Fargus, no. His Highness needs you. As do I. Save the old man talk for when you are truly senile.
A fair point. There's no reason to let old age make one timid.
Even as I work to surpass you, I still rely on you.
Is that so? Well then, we have more fighting ahead of us to do. We should get to it, for the future of Fargus.
So, Felix, is the tea to your liking?
It is.
It's nice to relax like this every now and then, isn't it?
It is.
You said some of your equipment is damaged, didn't you?
It is.
Are you not in the mood to talk? We could discuss your family or what's happening in high society. Flavors of tea? Your favorite jokes?
None of those. I already told you, I don't joke.
Of course, only cynicism. Oh, I know. We're holding a small opera in the cathedral soon. I'll be singing too. If you're interested in... but of course you aren't.
You can sing?
I'm sorry. What did you just say? Can I sing? I was only a diva of the Middlefront Opera Company, that's all.
Oh, right. I forgot.
You forgot. Am I that uninteresting to you? What must you think of me?
You're insincere and loud, is what I think. But you do make a good sparring partner. And a good tea companion.
Oh.
Anyway, when's the concert?
It's an opera, and you don't have to come.
You just invited me. You can't tell me not to come. That's for me to decide.
Oh, then you must be there. I'll sing my heart out just for you.
I haven't said I'll go.
Are you going to come or not? If you keep teasing me, I might just pretend to cry.
Fine, I'll go.
Fantastic! I look forward to it.
Hey Ash, what's with all the noise? Did something happen?
I only just heard myself. Looks like a thief got into the pantry and made off with some of our food supply.
Stealing from a monastery? What kind of monster would do such a thing? Come on, we gotta get that dirty thief.
Definitely. I'm sure we can capture the culprit if we work together.
Capture? What are you talking about? Why bother? This is the kind of person who would steal from a monastery. We gotta take this guy out as soon as we see him. How do you expect to get rid of the evil in this world if that's how you're gonna treat it?
What? I should be the one asking you that. The first thing we need to do once we've caught this person is hear what they have to say. They might have been forced into a life of theft by some awful circumstances.
You really don't get it, do you? If you let people get away with stuff like this, it's only gonna get worse. If we're gonna uphold justice, then we gotta stop evil. Simple as that.
I'm all for the rule of law, but indiscriminate slaughter isn't going to solve anything. You can't just execute someone on a wild assumption and call it justice.
And you can't just hide behind your fancy words. You have to take action. You know what? Forget it. There's no point in arguing this with you. We're gonna have to fight this one out. Whoever wins gets to make the plan. Got it?
What? How is fighting supposed to decide who's wrong and who's right? We're not barbarians, are we? Just take it easy and we can talk this over.
We don't have time to take it easy. The thief is getting away, and all you want to do is talk.
Hey, did you hear? Apparently they caught the thief who stole the food. All's well that ends well, right?
Oh, come on! You hear that? You just cost me my chance.
Hey, if they've already been caught, let's just leave it at that.
Is something the matter? Your heart does not seem to be in your training today.
I'm sorry. Something's been bothering me.
Idle thoughts do hinder training. Tell me what bothers you.
You were sworn to protect the royal family. But when we met 5 years ago, you weren't in the kingdom capital. You were in Garreg Mach. What could have made a great knight like you abandon his vow?
That is difficult to explain. You are aware of the tragedy of Dusker? When the king's party was massacred 9 years ago.
I am. It affected me too. My brother was suspected of being involved in the attack. And so the church, they...
Forgive me. That must be a difficult memory.
Why are you apologizing? It's not your fault.
I disagree. Had I been by His Majesty's side on that day where I was sworn to be, perhaps His Majesty would not have lost his life, and all would be different.
Is that why you left Fargus?
Yes. You may laugh, but I feel I was responsible for everything.
I would never laugh at something like that. But I do think you should have seen things through to the end. Even if you had to endure dishonor for a while, you could have restored your name. I'm sorry. That was inconsiderate of me. I got carried away by how much your situation resembles my own.
You were adopted by Lord Lonato, correct? I once told you that I wish to protect one thing other than my king. And that is my family. My wife and my daughter, both of whom I left behind in the kingdom. Lord Lonato took up his sword for his son, even if that meant turning his back on the goddess. As a father, I cannot condemn Lord Lonato for raising an army. Yet, perhaps he too lost sight of what should be protected, just as I did.
I don't understand what you mean. What should Lonato have protected?
You, Ash, because you are also his son.
You're right. I think I know what I need to protect now. It's been staring me in the face all this time. I don't know why I couldn't see it. I'm Lonato's son. His pride and his wishes are my inheritance. Those are what I should protect.
I see. Ash, you will be an excellent knight.
It's too early to say that, but I'm willing to learn if you'll teach me.
It would be my pleasure to oversee the training of a new generation.
What's wrong, Ash? Why are you standing there?
I've been thinking. No matter what I do, Lonato and my brother are never coming back.
Do you hate me?
I don't know. Maybe I do. I know you're an ally I can trust, a knight I can respect. But maybe I do.
Why don't you take a swing at me? I bet that'll make you feel better.
What?
Don't just stand there with that timid look on your face. Come at me!
I don't think that's going to help.
This isn't about avenging the dead. It's about taking revenge for yourself. It's how survivors move on. What will you do, Ash? You're welcome to stare at your feet for the rest of your life. Ah, that look in your eye. I like it! Come on, put your back into it!
Catherine?
Yes, Ash?
I'm don't know what's right anymore. I don't.
Don't be a fool. You decide for yourself what's right and what's wrong. I believe Lady Rhea is right, so I won't allow anyone to bring her harm.
What about a friend? How could you kill a friend to protect her, with no hesitation?
I couldn't. I'll never forget that day. When they took him, all I could do was stand there. I had to persuade myself, saying over and over under my breath, this is the right thing to do. If I hadn't, I wouldn't have been able to stand there. I would have cried out. I'm still persuading myself even now. I probably will be for the rest of my life. If I let myself regret what happened, he will have died for no reason.
Catherine.
Uncertainty is weakness. Someday, Ash, you'll have to make up your mind. You know who I am. What will you do about it?
This is why I keep telling people we need to keep her underground. It's a miracle that no one was hurt. Next time, we may not be so lucky.
What makes you so certain this incident was caused by her sighing? It seems unfair to cast blame until you're truly sure.
Isn't it obvious? A horde of monsters appeared out of nowhere and attacked us.
Uh-oh. You guys are talking about me, aren't you?
There you are. You won't get away with this crime. I'll make sure everyone knows who was to blame.
Hey, you didn't answer my question.
He doesn't care what we have to say. Forget about it.
No, you told me you had nothing to do with this. I can't just leave it alone.
Yes, you can. And you don't need to worry about it.
But I do. What if they pressured you into confessing something you hadn't actually done? They mean well, but they seem to think they have good reasons to suspect you. Those suspicions could lead to forceful questioning. They'll do anything to get to the bottom of this.
You're probably right. If he has his way, they'll do whatever they can to pin it on me. What about you? There isn't some part of you that agrees with that creep?
No. I know you don't sigh unless you absolutely can't help it. You would never endanger people like that unless something pushed you over the edge. I know this wasn't your fault. You said as much, and I believe you.
That's sweet. But unfortunately, your conviction isn't good for much on its own. We have no proof.
Then we'll find proof. If you didn't cause it, then something else did. We just have to find out what. I'll investigate the site where we were attacked. There could be a monster nest nearby.
You're so darn trusting, Freckles. For all you know, I could be lying.
Your commitment to honesty is as strong as mine. You'd never turn your back on our common bond.
You're just like the Luna Knight.
Hey, come on. I was being serious.
Sorry, I'm not laughing at you, I promise. I guess part of me was hoping to meet one of those storybook heroes. Now I finally have.
If that's how you feel, then I'm going to live up to it. I'll do my best to make sure you never sigh again.
I just wanted to say that I've been watching, and I'm really impressed by how hard you work. Very dedicated for someone so young.
Oh, thank you.
I really admire your everything. But, you know, everybody needs to relax now and then. I was wondering if maybe you and me could...
I'm quite busy. I should get going. Bye.
That was difficult to watch.
Lawrence, ever since you started hanging around, I've had no luck. Usually, if I show a girl I'm mature, noble, and interested, she's an easy catch.
Your logic is sound, I will admit, but your results are less than entirely convincing. Honestly, all this talk of maturity and experience from a shallow person like you is rather laughable.
Shallow? What? Like your nobleness as some properly cultured man of the world?
Naturally, my bearing is as elegant and refined as silk. Observe. You seem to be deep in thought. Is there something on your mind? Please, allow me to lend you my ear. I will gladly shoulder any of your burdens.
Oh, thank you. But it's not something I really want to talk about.
So harsh. Even the slightest worry, I would have been happy to listen.
Why, yes, your silky bearing was quite impressive. You're always going on about nobility, but that's no way to win a woman. Your problem, and I may have told you this before, at least twice, your problem is you're pretentious.
That's rich, coming from you. Your bearing is so flippant that you utterly fail to gain a lady's trust. How can you not see that?
All I'm failing to see is you getting a girl's attention.
How dare you?
Listen, I'm sorry. That was mean. And you're probably right about me not being serious enough.
I will concede, I feel the same. Enough at least to keep your advice at the back of my mind. I was a touch too stubborn.
It's the same in battle, isn't it? If you don't bend a little, you fail.
Even so?
Yeah, with that being said...
I will outclass you, Sylvain.
Bring it on, Lawrence.
Sylvain.
Hi. Why do you look so down? But hey, if you're talking to me of your own accord, can I assume you figured out I'm not a monster?
I wanted to apologize about my treatment of you earlier, Sylvain. I am not normally one to put stock in such rumors.
Nothing to be upset about. I mean, I've kind of earned that reputation. I've got this sickness. When I see a pretty girl, I can't stop myself from flirting with her. Like you, for instance.
Oh, I am so sorry to hear of your illness. Perhaps my magic will help heal you.
Huh? No, I didn't mean it like that.
No? Are you not ill then?
You know what? Let's move on. Can I take this to mean everything is good between us?
Of course. Sylvain, I look forward to getting to know you without the falsity of rumors.
Great. Would you like to celebrate our new friendship by joining me for a meal?
You would treat me to a feast? That is very kind of you.
A chance to spend time with a sweet girl like yourself? It's a pleasure. Your voice like birdsong, your eyes clear as diamonds. But above all, I'm drawn to your kind and loving heart. I am a captive to your charms, Flame.
I hear that very frequently. Thank you.
Yeah, I guess a girl as cute as you would get a lot of compliments.
Anyway, what type of meal were you considering, Sylvain? I would love some seafood, followed by a delicious cake. Oh, I am absolutely famished, as I often am. Shall we be on our way?
She's a tough one. Sheltered girls like her usually fall for that kind of stuff. But she's much too savvy, even for a smooth talker like myself.
Oh, I beg your pardon. Are you all right?
Yes, I'm Ow! I'm fine. I just twisted my ankle.
Oh, that won't do. Come, take my hand. Let's get you to the infirmary.
Are you sure it's okay to be seen helping me?
Why would it not be?
I thought you only extended your kindness to the nobility.
Certainly not. To aid a commoner in need is the most noble endeavor of all. Not only that, but you were injured by my carelessness. It is doubly my duty to assist.
In that case, I'll gladly accept your offer.
Good. There does not appear to be any real swelling, so you should heal swiftly.
Thank you so much for escorting me.
Walking on it will still be unpleasant. Allow me to lend you my shoulder, at least as far as your room.
If you're still offering to help, then I can't say no.
There you are, safe and sound. I will take my leave.
Thank you again, Lawrence. You know, I think I've learned something about you.
What is that?
In truth, it's not that you only extend your kindness to noble women. It's that you can't even see us of lower birth.
Excuse me?
You and I have been together all this time, but never once did you look me in the eye.
I hadn't noticed. But you will have to excuse any perceived rudeness. As the heir to House Gloucester, I have a duty. I must ask you to forget about me. Farewell.
Forget about him? What could that possibly mean?
Mercedes, hello. I have a request for you.
Oh, Alois. What could you possibly need at this hour?
A little birdie told me you're good at telling ghost stories.
I suppose I am.
So it's true. Excellent. I'd like to hear one of your finest ghost stories. Would you be amenable?
Goodness, you want me to share one? Well, certainly. I'm rarely asked to tell ghost stories. Which should I tell? Perhaps the one I heard in the monastery the other day.
Wait a moment.
Is something the matter?
I was only asking whether you'd tell me. The telling itself will have to be another time.
Are you sure? It's no trouble right now.
No, I have to steel myself. I have something important to do.
I see. That's a shame, but I suppose it can't be helped. If you don't mind my asking, why the sudden interest in hearing a ghost story?
Well, you see, ghosts terrify me. But I'm a knight. Someday, somewhere, I may have to deal with one.
A knight who's afraid of ghosts.
Yes, it's quite embarrassing.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to laugh. Even knights can't be stoic toward everything. I'm impressed that you're working so hard to face your fear.
Oh, it's nothing, really.
I will tell you my scariest ghost story the next chance I get.
Oh, it needn't be your very scariest. A moderately scary story will suffice. Thank you for taking the time.
And that should explain it. Did you understand all of that, young Annette?
I did. Thank you very much. Oh, but I was also wondering about this part here. It seems a bit off.
Questioning something like this is proof that your understanding has grown. Most impressive. Sit there, and I'll put this on the blackboard so you may copy it into your notes for later study.
Wonderful. I can't wait.
I believe that should explain everything, yes? Any further questions?
None. Thank you so much. I feel so great. I'm really sorry for taking up so much of your time, though.
Not at all. Not at all. Your intellectual curiosity is marvelous to see. And you have a top-notch character. Keep on as you are, and I sense a bright future for you.
Really? That's so nice of you to say. I'll do my best. I'm honored to be your student.
If only your friends would learn from your example. Yes, a classroom full of attentive, studious pupils would be quite refreshing after all these years. Have a good evening, Miss Annette, and do not hesitate to ask any other questions.
I won't, thank you. Goodbye for now.
Wait, you'll trip if you leave like that.
I'm sorry. Thank you. What's wrong, Father? I didn't expect you to summon me.
I carved this on a whim. I wish for you to take it, Annette.
A wooden doll. You used to make these for me when I was a child.
I still do it, when the mood strikes.
It's so cute. It's... Wait. No. What do you want from me?
I want nothing. I was carving and I thought of you. I remembered how happy you would be as a child when I handed one of these dolls to you.
I was back then, but I'm not a child anymore. It's too late for this now, Father. It doesn't make me happy anymore.
Annette.
I was so lonely after you left. I was always alone. I didn't know where you were or who to turn to for comfort. All I could do was look at the dolls you carved for me and remember you, and weep.
If you don't need it, you can throw it away. It is all the same in the end. I am sorry, Annette. I should have given more thought to my actions.
Father, wait! No, this won't do at all. It would be better to throw this doll away. You are too cruel, Father. Of course I could never throw it away.
Ingrid, are you familiar with the story of the King of Liberation and the 10 elites of Fodlan?
Of course. They were the heroes who struck down evil with the power of the sacred weapons, protecting our land and people. Their strength was passed down through the ages, manifesting itself in the crest some of us are born with.
Yes, the 10 elites certainly possessed great power. But does that make them worthy of worship?
I imagine you ask because they later fought amongst themselves, turning on one another, ravaging the land.
Precisely. Initially, Nemesis and the 10 elites worked together to bring peace to Fodlan. But soon their ambitions got the best of them, and they clashed, using their sacred weapons on anyone they chose, strong and weak alike. What I mean to say is, possessing strength alone does not make one worthy of respect. Rather, one should be judged by how they choose to use that strength.
Yes, I agree.
If you follow that logic, then you will see it also applies to those who are born with crests. Now think of how your father wishes to wed you to another family's fortune on the basis of your crest.
Yes? What of it?
These are purely inherited qualities. Is it not foolish to judge a person's value by some inherited fortune? That is all a crest is, really.
That's what I think too. Having a crest or not has no bearing on your worth as a person.
I understand that Count Galatea believes he has the right to manage your affairs. I am certain he has his own share of problems. And I do not wish to meddle or lay blame. But if there is anything I should like to say to his daughter, it is this. How you live your life is up to you.
Thank you for your counsel and wisdom, Sedith. I've been thinking a lot lately about what might happen after the war. I will take some time to reflect on what lies ahead. My future. All right then, enough sparring for today? Yes, that should suffice. I must say, you've gotten good at seeing through my tricks. I can't mislead you so easily anymore. I've made it my goal to read your aim and not give away anything through my body language. But in hand-to-hand combat, your form needs work. On the battlefield, even if you lose your weapon, you can't ever stop fighting. Sink your teeth into their throats, kick them where it hurts. Do whatever it takes to survive. Have you ever needed to employ such methods? Not on the battlefield. I've never been in such a dire situation that I needed to. But at the tavern, loads of times. With a well-aimed boot, I've brought many a man to his knees. My point is, you can't hesitate to use dirty tactics. You have to grit your teeth and fight back. War isn't as pretty as it's made out to be in all those poems and songs. Sometimes, even as a knight, You have to do things that you might think are beneath you. You might even have to let innocent bystanders die. Are you prepared for that, Ingrid? Do you really want to be a knight, knowing what it entails?
I'm prepared to do whatever is requested of me, come what may. I will be a knight who loyally serves my king, just as you loyally serve Lady Rhea.
You've got me wrong. I'm loyal to the Archbishop, but only up to a point. I'd do anything in the world for Lady Rhea, except die. If she asked me to die for her, I wouldn't. Does that sound like a contradiction? Very well. That's just who I am.
You're right. It does sound like a contradiction. With all due respect, that isn't very knightly of you. I'm not sure I fully understand.
You will someday. Maybe not for a while, but you will. In the meantime, just don't die, okay?
I'll try my best. Yes, it's decided. This meat is the best meat. Although the other inn has pretty great offerings as well.
Ah, if it isn't Ingrid. What are you up to in a place like this?
Yuri, I could ask you the same.
I'm just out to send a little money to my family. Gotta help however I can, you know?
Oh, that's very nice of you. Forgive my tone earlier. You truly set a noble example.
Right. Anyhow, looked like I interrupted you. You nearly choked on that wad of meat you were gnawing on.
Right. That is true, I suppose. You know,
What is it you're mumbling about?
Nothing. Anyway, you once worked for House Rowe, didn't you? 9 years ago, when I visited Count Rowe at his castle, I swore I saw you by his side.
Quite the sharp memory you have. You aren't mistaken. I was staying there then, yes. I had been adopted by the Count.
Oh? Come to think of it, I thought I'd heard something like that. That the Count had adopted a distant relative of his. A young man whose future was both bright and promising. So, that was you?
Yep. Although now, I'm nothing more than a distant stranger to him. Our ties were severed a while ago. He helped me out by getting me into the academy. It wasn't long after that we started having all sorts of disagreements. What the hell were you doing visiting House Row anyhow?
Yes. That. How to put it? It was to help clean up after a friend.
Ah, you speak of Sylvain. That must have been quite the mess you were cleaning up. Back to the point. What are you doing out here? Do you frequent this area often?
Mind your business, won't you? I just like to go for walks, get fresh air, that sort of thing.
Easy now. I'm not interrogating you. Really, I just wanted to warn you that it isn't so safe here in the evenings. You'll want to be on your guard.
I thank you for your concern, but I assure you I can handle myself.
Noted. Oh yeah, the innkeeper also wanted me to thank you. He wanted to thank you for being such an enthusiast for the food he sells. Seemed pretty happy about it.
Is that so? How very... Well, I'd better be off.
Seems she doesn't want anyone seeing her with a face full of food. Too late.
I've never seen that one. That was actually pretty funny. Okay. Oh god, the waifu episode's over. Holy shit, that took a hot minute. I guess next I'll do the Silver Maiden Paralog, and then after that we got our Rescue Deirdre mission. Thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed.